Hello students, today we will discuss the summary of Act 1 of the Hairy Ape. The firemen have gathered in the ship's forecastle. The crew's cramped quarters in the bow of the ship on break from shoveling coal. The ocean liner has sailed an hour out of New York. The men are sitting around on their bunks, drinking beer, carrying on with each other, and singing in a clamorous uproar. Yank, broader, fairest, more set, more powerful, more sure of himself than the rest. So we can see that in this act, Yank is quite confident about himself, about his position. Turns his attention to the mob and asks for a beer. When Yank speaks, the men are immediately quiet. They don't hesitate to hand him 2 drinks. Yank, satisfied, turns away, and the rowdy men cajole an older fireman, Paddy, to sing his whiskey song. Intoxicated, swaying, and clutching his bunk, he wails "Whiskey, oh Johnny," and is quickly joined by the other men. Yank again turns his attention to the crowd and commands them to be quiet as he is trying to think. The men in unison repeat after him mockingly, "Think." Above the man's noise, a tenor voice is heard singing about a lass who fondly waits, making a home for me. Young silences the tenor and fiercely tells him that the ship is his home, nowhere else. A drunken Long jumps on a table in support of what Yank has said, but adds to it. Long declares that the ship is home, home is hell, and the first class passengers, the capitalist class, is to blame. Yank stands and threatens to knock Long down, calling his idea Salvation Army, socialist bull. He definitely states that the firemen are superior to the first class passengers because they are physically stronger and they belong to the ship. Paddy emerges from his stupor and cries out, "We belong to this you have singing. We make the ship go, you are saying. God, have pity on us." Paddy persists in a lengthy and passionate speech, detailing his former life on the sea. Paddy explains that in his youth, men had reason to be proud to work on ships. The tall clipper ships powered by sails rather than coal were clean and free. The ship gave Paddy a fantastic feeling of freedom and speed, rather than entrapment and slavery in the coal steamers. Paddy argues that working aboard the clipper ship required skills and guts. Men could belong to clipper ships but do not belong to steamers. Paddy concludes that the men aboard the steamship shoveling coal are cased in by steel, without the sight of land or sea, like apes in the zoo. Yank gets up to fight Paddy but controls himself. He tells Paddy to calm down, that he is crazy and too old to understand. Excitedly, Yank suddenly cries out that he belongs to the ship and Paddy does not. Paddy is dead and he is alive. Yank declares that he is part of the engines. He moves, he breathes coal, dust, and he eats it up. Without Yank, without the engines, everything would stop. Like Long, Yank describes the bottom of the ship as hell, but it takes a man to work in hell. Yank equates himself with steel, the muscles, and the punch behind it. Through the plight and struggle of an ocean liner, fireman Eugene O'Neill exposes the regression of civilized men to an animalistic state. The firemen are reduced to work animals, caged and abused. The ocean liner functions as a metaphor for the larger confinement, an operation of blue collar workers into a tight niche in the bottom of this society. The cage like forecastle is representative of the cramped world, void of opportunity that the man exists in. O'Neill suggests that the man should resemble those pictures in which the appearance of Neanderthal man is guessed at. The tight quarters of the forecastle and low ceiling force man to stoop low, preventing the man from having normal upright posture, only valued for their physical might, their ability to shovel coal into the ship's furnace. The men have abandoned the need for modern or complex thought and have regressed into Neanderthal state. O'Neill reinforces the fireman's Neanderthal state in the fireman's speech patterns. O'Neill carefully spells out the broken words and vocal patterns of the man to ensure that the actor will effectively use the speech as another barrier and divide between the fireman and the higher class characters. With the exception of Paddy and Long, the men speak in short, simple phrases in broken English. Paddy and Long also have thick accents but express complex thought through their dialogues. In this scene, the dialogue between the firemen comes in waves of exclamation. Thank you, student. In the next class, we will discuss the act second of the Hairy Ape.